Hello, welcome to Busy Bee Projects. Today we're making these cute little Christmas ornaments. They look like little presents when you get done. Aren't those cute? In order to make one of these, you're going to need some felt, some ribbon, something to decorate the top of your box, and some thread, and of course a needle to do your sewing. So let's get started. First step is you're going to need to cut off enough pieces to make a box when you get done. And you could make it really square like this one, or you could make it more with rectangles and a square on the top. Now my pieces, I kept them from 1 to 2 inches, my different measurements. This one's going to be kind of a squat shape. So there we have 6 pieces. I'm going to use these for my sides, and this one for my top and my bottom. I also have a needle and a thread with a knot in the end. And then you're going to start sewing these together. So I'm going to take 2 side pieces, line them up, start just a little bit in from the corner, and I like to do a couple of stitches in the corner just to make sure it's good and tight. And I like to use thread that matches my felt exactly. You could use a contrasting thread like a gold or silver, but if you do that, you're going to have perfect stitches. Now I'm just going up the side and wrapping my thread around and coming up. Really simple, really quick, really easy stitch. And then once I get to my corner, I'm going to do a few extra right there and make sure it's tight. Now, that's one side. And I'm going to just go, I could go down this side or I could go down this side. I think I'm just going to go this direction. You're basically going to keep doing this until everything's shut except one side. And you will have to stop, knot your thread, and restart it occasionally because you're going to work yourself into a corner. Alright, I'll be back when I've got some more done. Alright, I've been really busy sewing on this. I've gotten, well, not too busy. I went up, down, around, and then next piece I needed to put on was the other top piece, and I realized that before I sew this on here, I really should put my decoration on it first, because once it's a box, it's harder to sew that on. So you want to decide what you want to use to decorate the top of your box. You can use buttons, you could use beads. I happen to be using some scraps of trim. I used to work at a fabric store, so I had good access to a lot of the little scraps that we used to end up with. But you can go into, at least here in our area, you can go in and buy 1/8 of a yard of trim, which is, 4.5 inches. And that's plenty for a little project like this. I'm just going to kind of rumple this up. Maybe I'll roll it. And get it all kind of together. And then I'm going to sew that to the top of my thing, because I just want it to be kind of a big blob on there. So I've got that all rolled up. I'm going to put it in the middle of my pink, and I'm just going to start sewing that down, going up and down, and just tack it down. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's all going to get covered later. We'll put a few stitches in that way, maybe flip it over, do a few over here. I got that tail, I got to catch that in. Whoops, it caught my fringe with my thing. It's the problem with sewing fringe on, it tends to go where you don't want to go. Just gonna tack that down, maybe on this side now a little bit. Try to aim for the middle. Doo doo doo. Ah, snagged her again. Patience. Patience. That should be good. And now you can see kind of what you think it's going to look like. Now for this one here, I had really long ones that stuck out like that, and I actually twisted them up and stitched them all down. So I had all these back down. So that's what gave me that real kind of blob effect, which I thought was really cute. This one I just let them hang, and actually they were longer. They had another one of these clear ones on the end, but I didn't like that because it was too long, so I took those off and I just let these hang. So I'm trying to decide on this one if I should let them hang or if I should curl them up. You know, there's so many of them. I might curl some up and let some hang. But I'm going to play around with that. This is the fun part. This is the part where you get to be creative and figure out what you want to do. I mean, if you had a really pretty button, you could put that in there, or a bead. You could leave it as is. I think I'm going to leave it as is for now, and if I decide later I want to do something else with it, I will. So I'm going to knot my thread, and I'm going to go back to sewing my sides together. Alrighty, I have got all the sides sewn together except for one on the bottom. I left open. You can see it right here. I got my little opening there. And that's where I need to put my stuffing. I gotta stuff it with something, otherwise it's just a flat, lifeless blob. So I've got some scrap of, I actually use this to stuff a quilt. It's the scrap left over from when you trim it. This is that polyfill stuff. But you could really use anything for a project like this. I mean, you could stuff it with a paper towel or some toilet paper, or just anything squishy. So, open up that side, stuff it in there. Just keep stuffing it until it's kind of firm, but if you stuff it too much, it won't be square anymore, so you still want it to be square, but you want it to hold up. Then when you get enough stuffing in there that it's about the right shape and right firmness, guess what? You get to sew it shut. Okay, I've got my side all sewn up. It's all stuffed. I decided I needed a little something on the top here because it looked kind of empty. So I took some of the extra fringe and I took some of the end pieces off and sewed them in the middle. Now with my other ones, at this point, I put ribbon around the outside, and I actually just glued that on. I tacked it just in a few places to glue it. And this one I did it, you can see, I just did one loop around. This one I've decided, since the fringe is so long, I decided to not put that around. But you obviously could, and then I would just wrap it around, glue it, and cut it off. But I don't think you're really going to notice it with all the fringe on there, so we're going to leave that off. So there's only one more thing you need to do, and that's put a loop on it to hang it. See, my purple one, I have a loop right in the top, and my blue one, since I don't have a dangly fringe on it, I just did it on the corner, so it's going to hang that way. What I'm going to use is called pearl cotton, and it comes in skeins like this. A lot of times it's in the same bin as the embroidery floss, but it's obviously a lot thicker. So I'm just going to take a chunk of that, and I'm going to go through the top. Bring my ends up even. Make sure it hangs somewhat straight. Not really, but I think that's okay. And tie it, and now I can hang it on my Christmas tree. So this has been another Busy Bee Mom Sewing Project. We have these adorable little present ornaments that we've made today. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.